Hello and welcome to AutoX, and say hello to the new NS400Z, the 2025 NS400Z. Yes, within 6 months of the launch of the old iteration, we have a new one with more design changes, one design change and a few mechanical changes. So does that make this motorcycle better? Should you switch over from the old one to the new one? Well, let's find out. Let's first talk about design and dimensions in terms of its physical appearance, in terms of its weight. Everything remains the same. Still weighs 174 kgs. It still gets a 165 mm ground clearance. The height remains the same. The length remains the same. And that, if you remember, had been shortened from the Domina platform. Now, in terms of styling, it retains the Pulsar silhouette. It also retains the NS200 silhouette, but with its own unique changes in terms of the front cowl, the tank shrouds, so on and so forth. The only design change which you'll find in this new one is this updated radiator cowl. This has been done for better heat management. And did it work? I think it did. It diverted heat away from my shin, but there was a bit of heat from the engine seeking in to my ankles. But we'll look over that. Next, you get steel radials now. This one gets Apollo Alpha H1s. You also get MRF steel radials depending on the unit you get. And this was much needed. I think it becomes more robust, it has better feedback, and these will last a little more. Then in terms of braking, you now get sintered brake pads. These also have better bite, and these will also last more than the organic ones in the previous one. So overall, that was about the styling and the dimensions. Not much has changed. Next, if you look towards the side, the next change is focused here. You now get a sports shift quick shifter, but Bajaj doesn't call it a quick shifter because this doesn't have sensors in the traditional sense. This does get one which is a gear position sensor, and that tries to predict when you're going to change your gears and helps you accordingly. But this only works in sports mode. So is that helpful? Well, yes, if you're a newer rider. It does have a bit of a lag, it does have a learning curve, but overall I felt with my experience I can shift faster than it does. But still a useful feature to have if you're a newbie. Then, if you look towards the other side, we come to the changes in the engine department. This is still a 373cc unit, but it has been reworked. It gets now forged pistons, updated cam timing, updated valve train. The air intake duct has been reworked, but of course the air box remains the same. It makes more power, 43 bhp, and it's also faster in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 comes up in 2.7 seconds, which is 0.5 seconds faster than the old one. 0 to 100 comes up in 6.4 seconds, which is 0.9 seconds faster than the old one. Now, this is important here. The top end has been reworked, but the low and bottom end characteristics have been left untouched. And that is exactly how it feels on the road. There is a bit of a flat spot as soon as you get going. There is a lag. Then you have a bit of a linear progression up towards the 4,000 to 5,000 RPM mark. And after that is when the real surge of power begins. That is where it pulls cleanly towards the red line, talking about which the red line has improved by 1000 RPM. It is now 10,300 RPM in normal mode, rain or road. But in sport mode, that has been reworked. Now that gets a RPM of 10,700 RPM, and that has also really improved the usability of the RPM power band. Now, before we move on to the suspension, there are two interesting things that I'd like to share with you. The first is the changes which has happened in the engine department. Those are similar to that which happened with the Gen 2 Duke, where you get a forged piston with nickel carbide coating. Next, that the sports shifter cannot be retrofitted with the old NS400Z. Bajaj claims that you have to have this new 43 PS version in order to access it. Then we talk about suspension. I think it's a mixed bag. When I rode the old one, I thought it was comfortable over the rough stuff. Even taking corners in broken roads, broken tarmac, I think it did well. But once you really started pushing it, I think it did go out of its element. It did feel soft and wallowy, did not give me the confidence I required, and that was on a racetrack. Today I rode it at faster speeds on bigger roads, and that weakness really is accentuated where the forks don't settle very nicely. There were a few hairy moments where if I was taking corners faster than this light, it did go into a bit of shimmy, and that really hampers confidence moving forward. So overall, I think it's comfortable for everyday use. It's really good over broken tarmacs, broken road. But I think riding fast, there are some compromises. So ladies and gentlemen, what do we think about the updated NS400Z? It is definitely a better iteration than the outgoing model, but if I was a current owner of one, I wouldn't be heading to the showroom in order to switch this up with the new one. I think it's still a similarly good vehicle. This just gets those extra bit of niceties to make it a little more premium product. And that's the best part. The price hasn't gone up that much. 8,000 rupees. It's now come to 1,93,000, and I think that is still great value for money for the package you're getting. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the new NS400Z? Do you like it? And if you were an old NS400Z owner, do you think it's worth switching to the new one so soon? Tell us in the comment section down below.